Welcome to lesson number 8, where we start putting together all the little things that we've been learning so far. Start using layers and the Bezier tool and our understanding of nodes and how to smooth them, all in order to create objects that have a visual significance. And when I say visual significance, I just mean that the viewer will be able to relate to them. So today we're going to draw some horses, and by the time you're done, you're going to draw a horse that you're probably pretty proud of. And how's that going to be when you're not necessarily a fine artist? It's because electronic drawing tools and computer programs help you. They help you immensely. So let's start by going online and let's Google search horse. Let's look in images. And I'm going to want you to grab any image you want of a horse, but I'm going to ask you to make the horse in profile, right? Don't give me a horse that's coming dead on. We're going to talk about perspective very soon. Give me a horse that's in profile, right? You want him rearing up like this, looking very dynamic and powerful. You can do that. If you want him or her standing, no problem. But just go ahead and grab something that's in profile, not something that is in perspective coming towards you. Always click on the thumbnail and bring up the higher resolution image. This higher resolution image is the one that you can then grab and drop on your desktop. Once again, if you can see the little picture on your desktop, it means that Inkscape will import the image. So I've grabbed my horse picture. I also grabbed a couple of others. I can now take the horse picture, drag it down, hover over Inkscape, raise up and let go, click OK, and just like we do in Photoshop, that gives us the ability to import an image into the Inkscape work environment. I'm going to want you to zoom in. So hold down on that control button and use the roller ball or scroll wheel on your mouse and move in closer. And we are going to be using the Bezier tool because Bezier is going to be your absolute best chance to do this project and to get it done really, really well. When you create images, remember they're nothing more than geometric shapes. So I'm going to want you to click and release, and I'm going to want you to outline the entire horse, just as a geometric shape. Remember, when I get close to the edge of the screen, push and hold on your scroll wheel on your mouse, and then release. By using the Bezier tool, we have the ability to do lots of nodes when we have corners to go around. And we've got the ability to use longer lines with fewer nodes when we've got some straightaways. Like I said, you're going to be extremely happy with the look of your element by the time you're done, because that's what Inkscape is meant to do. It's meant to help you draw better. Again, I'm just doing an outline. I'm not worried about all the fine hairs on the tail. I'm not worried about all the fine hairs on the mane. I'm just doing a basic outline. And I'm going to show you in another lesson how to go back in and do all of this fine extra work, adding to your overall image. Because when all is said and done, I want to be able to assess you on a level 1, 2, 3, or 4 drawing. Level 1 is when I look at your work and I say, I don't understand what that's supposed to be. And you say, it's a horse, sir. And I say, a horse? I don't see it. It might be an animal, but there are not nearly enough distinguishing features for me to understand that that's supposed to be a horse. And then level 2 would be me looking at your work and me saying, I don't quite understand what I'm looking at. Could you explain it to me? And you tell me, well, it's a horse, sir. And then I go, oh, okay, I can see it. I can see what you're going for, but there's an awful lot of things we need to do to make the image stronger. And level 3 is when I stare at your artwork and I go, oh, you're making a horse. You know what? It's certainly understandable by me, but there are still things that you need to do in order to make a stronger overall effect. And then level 4, that magical level 4, which doesn't necessarily mean perfection, just means level 4 work. That's when I look at your work and I go, ooh, very nice horse. I like how you... And then I start listing all the details you did, especially when it's things you did without me having to suggest them, in order to make the effect of the horse as strong as possible. So, I will grade you on a level 1, 2, 3, or 4. And essentially level 1 is, what the heck is that? I don't see it. And level 2 is, what the heck is that? Oh, now I see it, but. And level 3 is, oh, I know what that is. Let me give you some help in making it even stronger. And level 4 is where I can look at your work and not only see what it is, but I can begin to appreciate what you did and how you created it. It's no longer just my own impressions of what you should be doing. Perhaps you even impressed me with things that you thought of that I didn't. So step 1 is to use the Bezier tool. Use as many nodes as you have to. I'm going quickly because when it comes to uploading videos to YouTube, they get really finicky after about 15 minutes, and they often say, you can't upload that information for free. You got to become a paying member. Well, I'm not going to become a paying member, so I'm going to do the outline of the horse quickly. You should consider doing it slowly and using as many nodes as you need. Once again, you're going to be impressed. You're going to be impressed at the work that you can create in a vector-based drawing program. Don't worry about the eyes, don't worry about the nostrils, just get the basic outline. And remember, you always have to finish your drawing in the exact same place you started. So click on that first node. And if you do, you will have an excellent start to your horse shape. So I don't think anybody can argue what that is. Okay? The tail might need work. That may not look like the best tail you've ever seen, but the rest of it looks pretty good. So there's the outline of my horse. Now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to get this spacing between those legs. I'm going to do that as a separate element. Remember, Inkscape is all about building things in layers as separate geometric shapes, and then watch how they interact with each other when you start putting them all together. Boom, boom. Zooming back out. Dragging that piece over. Once I grab a hold of it, of course. Scooch that out of the way. There we go. Right, I'm going to a little bit further. Stick that about there. Now I just have to zoom in a little bit to have more control. There we go. And now here's a key concept in vector-based drawing programs. Everything's a geometric shape. You may get now that that's the front leg and the front leg and the back leg and the back leg, but when you go to color this in, remember, it's just all a geometric shape. In order to create the separation between those two legs, you need a separate object. And that separate object needs to be colored differently. It's a geometric shape, it's a geometric object. And in order to have more precise control, I got to zoom in a little bit more. And I'll put it right about there. Then I'll zoom back out again. So that's an outline of a horse, then that's the outline of the space between the front legs. And you're going to have to do every element on the horse as a separate object. Next, I'm going to do the bridle. Engage my Bezier tool. And I'm going to do the bridle as a separate object. Because in vector, you're only creating geometric shapes. And each geometric shape needs to be its own entity. And then each shape gets layered on top of all the other shapes. Boom, finish that up. Zoom out. Drag it over. Oh, I hate when I forget to take my finger off the control button and I flip everything. Drag it over. Zoom in. Color it black. And then put it into position. Okay? It's okay if it doesn't quite meet. Remember, there's a hairy mane up there. But even if there wasn't a hairy mane, I could go in after the fact, use my Edit Paths by Nodes tool, and I could drag all this stuff down, and I could make the bridle fit exactly where I wanted it to. Okay, all that can be done after the fact. So, do me a favor. Go online, find an image of a horse, and start to understand how things in Inkscape get built as individual geometric shapes, and then they get layered on each other to keep improving the effect, making it greater and greater. See you in the next lesson, and we'll continue the horse.